Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Do you mind just telling us your first name?
Um, my first name,
Just your first name
Elizabeth. I am Elizabeth with an S.
with an S. Um, what were your dreams as a kid?
I my earliest memory actually is of going to see a show. It was called Peter and the Wolf, and I knew that I wanted to be a part of that. Like at 2 years old, I was like, I want to act, I want to direct. I don't know what's going on backstage, but I gotta know. So I think I've always really been drawn to acting. Um,
Awesome. Do you
yeah.
mind telling us a little bit about your childhood?
My childhood. It's. I'll do my best.
Yeah.
It's pretty blacked out. Um, it was. I don't know. Childhood. I moved around a lot. My parents didn't get along very well, so my mom was always like trying to find a new life for us. So I would say it was kind of lonely. I had a lot of imaginary friends. They were pretty cool. Um, uh, yeah, I don't really know what to say about it. It's
Would you mind telling us a little bit about your relationship with your dad and how that relationship felt for you?
in the beginning, like growing up, I was like a huge daddy's girl. When my mom left the first time, I would say, she took me to a therapist. And after my appointment, she was like, "How did you like your feelings doctor?" And I said, "I don't need a feelings doctor. I just need my daddy." So we moved back home so I could have my daddy. Um, and then, I don't know, there was like a switch. I started to see kind of like he didn't really treat her very well, and I could it started to be became more aware of it. And so I stopped being a daddy's girl, like on the flip of the dime.
How old were you?
I would say I was probably 8 or 9, maybe like 10. And then after that, we didn't really have I didn't really know what to say to him. Like we didn't really talk that much. He was just kind of like there. I mean, if I needed him, he wasn't like an absent father. Um, we just didn't vibe anymore.
How was that moment of, like, damn, he ain't what I made him out to be? How'd that feel for you?
um, I I don't know. I feel like it it sucks because I do I do think my dad is like dope. Like he's a cool guy. Um, and I wish we had a better relationship. I just don't. And it's not like I hold anything against him. Like him and my mom are like best friends now. Like they're not. There's nothing. There's no like animosity or anything. Um, I just. I don't know. I just don't really feel anything. I just don't really feel anything for him, except I love him.
What about your relationship with your mom and how that felt?
Well, my mom is my best friend. I love my mom. And it was really hard to see her, like, go through that, like, watching her, like, suffer or, like, struggle. But I feel like I've always had, even when I was, like, wanting my dad more, my mom was the person that was there. So I was very attached to her. Like, when she would leave for work or was just away for a little amount of time, I would get really sad and I would cry. And I don't know, I was really, we slept in the same bed, if not the same room, like pretty much my whole childhood. Like, she was like, I don't know if that's healthy.
There's a bond.
A real bond. It's real, real deep, and it's only gotten, I would say it's like stronger. I never wanted to like burden her with my feelings because I could see what she was going through. So there was a little bit of a disconnect, like, I don't know. I would say, like, all of my, like, tears and, like, the sadness that I felt from my mom, I, like, kept it to myself. Like, my mom never knew that I was, like, breaking down when she was away. And very recently, like, literally February, I saw her for the first time in 2 years, and I, like, was almost the most vulnerable that I've ever been with her. So that was cool to, like, finally, like, let that go. Like, I don't know.
What's the biggest thing that you learned from your parents, good or bad?
I would say from my dad, I don't really know. I feel like he's really, like, he doesn't really care about what people think of him, which is really cool because I struggled with that for a long time, and it was just like anytime I would get embarrassed by him as a kid, or like, you know, dad, he'd be like, why? Like, why are you embarrassed? Like, he would always ask me that question. And so now, like, I really carried that into who I am now. Like, sometimes I'll still get embarrassed, but it's like I can laugh at myself now. Like, I don't take it seriously. I don't take anything seriously. That's what I've learned from my dad. Don't take anything seriously. And my mom gave me this very, very, like, broad perspective, I would say. Like, everything is black and white. I mean, everything is gray. Nothing is black and white. Like, I have, it's probably not always good. Like, you don't need to see all sides all the time, but, like, my brain just can't help it. Like, I'm just like, I don't know. I guess.
You can put yourself in other people's shoes?
Yeah.
Or at least
Like,
try, right?
it's like so easily. Like, it's so easy. Even a person that maybe you shouldn't or you don't want to. Like, it's so easy for me to just, like, visit a headspace that maybe some people are, like, afraid to go to, or don't want to go to. Like, I can just go to it easily with, like, no judgment. I'm just like, but, so I think I got that from her, which is pretty cool.
Can you tell us about your first love and how that felt? And it's whatever you associate as your first love.
My first love. My first love. I would say my first love was probably my first. Yeah, that feels right. His name was Ty. His name is Ty. He's not dead. Ty. I remember having the biggest crush on him when I was in 6th grade. And like through friends or whatever kids do, they're like, hey, you want to go out with Elizabeth or whatever? And so we like did that, but we weren't like in the same classes, and I was too shy to like actually talk to him. So we kind of dated for maybe like a week, and then he broke up with me because I didn't talk to him fair. And then like fast forward, now we're juniors in high school, and we just started hanging out again. I don't remember. Oh, I remember. I wanted to try out for baseball. Whatever I was going through, I wanted to try out for baseball, and he was on the baseball team, and we were just talking about it, and he was like, yeah, I can help you. And I don't know, like, I had never, like, my crush, I guess, never went away, and I realized again, like, how much I liked him, and we were older now, and so it was, I talked to him.
How'd that love feel? So how that young love, that passion, how was that? If you could describe it.
How could I describe it? It was like, still one of the best feelings that I've ever felt. Like, it was like, nothing can stop me, like, nothing can hurt me. Like, it was so, I was smiling all the time, like, my face would hurt. I just wanted to be around him all the time. Like, we were inseparable, and I wrote a lot of like poetry about him. I was like making things for him. Like, I was so inspired. I like just so I don't know.
Did you get butterflies in your stomach?
So many butterflies all the time. I was like, no way. The first time, I still like vividly remember the first time we kissed, and it was just like a moment. It was just like a beautiful little, it was so cute. We were so cute. I didn't love.
So, on the flip side of that, can you tell us about your first loss or heartbreak? Same thing, whatever you associate with those words.
It'd probably also be him. We were together for 3 years, I want to say, and then I decided to move to New York, and he was not gonna do that. So we split up for that, and it sucked because it wasn't like we weren't in love anymore, you know. It was just like I wanted to do, and I was very clear about it in the beginning. Like, acting has been my number one thing for a long time, and it's always going to be. And so I think that like both of us knew that it wasn't gonna last, but yeah, saying goodbye I took a train because I'm an idiot, but I took a train to New York, and he took me to the train station, and that was like the hardest goodbye probably ever. And we saw each other like maybe twice, 3 times. Like when I would come back to visit my family, I would try to see him too, but he had like started to move on, and I didn't. It took me a very long time. Like even up until recently, I just think about him, like how he's doing.
How was New York?
New York is so sick. I love New York so much. I visited New York for the first time when I was like 6 years old, and I knew that I was gonna live there. I was like, this is it. This is where it's at, man. And then I visited a couple of times in between, and my uncle lived out there at the time, and he was like my hero. He's like my biggest inspiration. I loved him so much. Thought he was the coolest dude. And he was also an actor. So he was acting, doing his thing in New York, and for my college graduation gift, I got to go to New York for 2 weeks. And I had originally planned to like go to Atlanta and then maybe LA. Like my mom really wanted me to like stay close to home, and Atlanta was becoming a hub for acting. And while I was in New York, I was like talking to my uncle about my game plan, and he was like, fuck that, like, if I could say that. Why not just come to New York? And I was like, okay, bet. And then 2 months later, I moved to New York. And it was the feeling when I got to New York, because he couldn't like entertain me. He had like to get back to work. So he just gave me the keys to his apartment and then got me a taxi, and I like got there, and I just had what I had. I didn't have much, and I was just alone in this strange apartment, and I was like there now, like this is it. And like that feeling, it was almost too much. Like I was like, I need something to distract myself because it was so scary. I was like alone. Like I knew my uncle, which was cool, thank God. But I didn't know anybody. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what my plan was. I was like starting to like doubt my decision a little bit. I was like, what am I doing here? Like, what's going on? But that didn't last very long because New York just sucked me right in. And it was really rough in the beginning. Like, I developed like a lot of unhealthy habits. I was like hanging out with people that probably weren't good for me, but it was like I was 20 years old, so like I'd not really done anything. Coming from a small town in Alabama, it's not like I had a lot of options for like freedom or rebellion. I was literally like untouched by the world, and then New York got its hands on me, and it was rough.
What's the biggest lesson that the Big Apple taught you?
That's a tough one. Maybe like, I don't really know. Don't take anybody's shit. Take shit from no one.
Who would you say first taught you what love is and how?
What love is. I mean, I want to say my mom, just because I know that she loved me, but I don't. The ways that my mom loved me were very, maybe a little bit like toxic. Like, she was doing her best with what she had, and like the way that her parents loved her was not like a true reflection of love, I guess, in a sense. Like, it's very controlling. It's like fear-based. But like, I never doubted my mom's love for me. I would say that my most recent past relationship was probably the best depiction of love that I've seen so far for me. It was just a really healthy love. Like, you could tell that it was like based in love. It wasn't, I never felt like controlled. I never felt like I don't know. I felt free. I felt safe. And he's seen parts of me that literally no one else has, and it's like still able to like hold space for me in a very beautiful way. Like, yeah, he's good at loving me.
Yeah, we live and we learn and we get better. What's your definition of love, if you had to describe it?
Love for me is just allowing the person to just fully be themselves, like at any moment, at any given time, just like holding that space for a person. And it doesn't matter what you want, it's like about what they want. And if they, I don't know, I used to feel really insecure in my relationships. I was like if they looked at somebody else, like I would be kind of obsessive about like their past relationships. Like, it was really unhealthy, and I felt like it was because I loved them so much. I was like, I just love them so much, so I don't want to lose them. And like, that's not really how I see it anymore. I think real love is being okay with losing them as long as they're happy. Like, I have a lot of love to give, and I feel like I want to give it to everybody, and I feel like it's gonna look a little bit different depending on what that person needs.
What do you need out of love?
I need to be free. I don't need anybody to try to like put me in a box. I need acceptance. And I really just need to feel safe. Like I'm really working on.
What's a good day look like for you?
A good day?
Yeah.
A good day is, I don't know. Most days are pretty okay.
Like, man, today was a good day.
Today was a good day.
Yeah, yeah.
Today, like, nothing specific has to happen. Nothing, like, sometimes even my bad days are good days just because I'm here. I'm alive. I'm feeling. I get to feel. I get to eat. I get to love. Like, I don't know. That's a good day.
The flip side of that, what's a bad day like for you? So, I mean, you can go deeper into your philosophy on on life, which is good. So, what's a bad day like for you, and how do you approach those bad/challenging days?
A bad day is when the intrusive thoughts get the better of me. I'm getting a lot better at like dealing with them or like letting them just be. I would say before I was like trying to deal with it, like almost fighting it a little bit, but that just makes it worse. So now
100%. What does that fighting it look like when you're trying to fight it? How does that? And then describe it getting worse with trying to fight it.
Trying to fight it looks like a lot of distractions, like weed or alcohol or anything, like just like constant like suppression, like don't let it surface, like and then I don't know, they're really strong. Those thoughts are very strong, and I always don't give them enough credit. I'm like, I can handle it, and they're like, yeah, sure. So they'll let me push them down with like all of these distractions, but then that makes me like weak-minded. Like I think I'm more susceptible at that point, and then that's when they attack. They're like, we got her now. She's drunk and alone. and then I'll just get really sad. I'll get so sad. And
what do those thoughts consist of, if you don't mind?
Just like I feel a lot all the time, and only recently have I been able to really regulate my emotions. And so before, these thoughts would almost like
don't have to go into specifics. You can give a general purview too if you want.
Yeah, no, it's fine. They just want me to end it all. Just because sometimes it's just too much being. And it doesn't come from like a place of sadness. Hardly ever have I thought about suicide when I'm sad. It's usually when I'm happy, and it's really frustrating because I can be having this wonderful moment with people, and then this wave just rushes over me, and it's like, what if you just killed yourself? And it's like, why? Like, it's so confusing, because it's like I don't necessarily want to die, but like the thoughts are just always there. So sometimes they're louder, sometimes they're really quiet, but that's
So how do you, the more you fight those thoughts, the worse it gets. So then I guess the answer to that would be to, me speaking personally, maybe, right, to surrender. So then how does that look like? How does it look like to let those feelings pass through you versus controlling you and surrendering to, for me personally, to life? Like, I surrender to life and everything that comes with it, and that includes the feelings, the hurt, the pain, but I also get to have like the joy. You know what I mean? So, you know that when you fight it, it's worse. So what's the opposite of that? If you felt that, you know.
I don't really know. I don't know that I have figured that out yet.
What helps best for you?
It just helps. It helps to know, like, I know that I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Like, I trust myself. I guess that was a shift. Like, it's not as scary now when those thoughts happen, because I trust myself more. Like, before I was like, I don't trust myself. Like I could flip on a dime. Like, sometimes when I go to a dark place, I literally black out. Like, I'll come out of it and I'll have the memories, but they don't feel like mine. Like, it's like someone else had that experience, like totally detached. But now I trust myself, and just, I don't know, just being with the uncomfortable or the scary is working. Like, just
and
letting
trusting
it.
That deep down, like, you're good.
Yeah.
What's a person or an event that shaped you, good or bad?
trying to think. Like,
what inspires you?
what inspires me? My I feel like literally everybody around me inspires me in some kind of way. Like, just really taking in another person sometimes, for like, just like observing them, just like taking them in. I'm like, I don't know.
Life inspires you.
Life is so inspiring. I love to just sit back and watch. I've never been like the kind of person that I would say participates. I'm just kind of like watching in the background. And that makes me it makes me happy to see other people just be. Even, it doesn't make me like happy when I see someone crying, but like it makes me feel something. Mm-hmm. I think that, like, in a sense, art, for me, I define art as something that elicits a response from me, any kind of response. And I get that a lot from just seeing people feel their feelings, and that inspires me to also feel my feelings or to create something.
What's been a humbling experience for you?
Humbling. I don't think I've ever been humbled. Somebody needs to humble me real quick.
Or awe, or maybe a feeling of awe, or you feel maybe like sometimes, for example, there's different ways of being humbled, right? Life can humble you, depression, loss, all those things can humble us, finances, but also just gazing at the mountains can humble you.
Oh, okay, yeah, for sure. Every time I see the mountains, I get a little teary-eyed. I'm like, wow, I'm so small. Yeah. I guess every time I look up at the stars, I'm humbled. Yeah. Because I don't know.
Can you describe that feeling, like when you gaze at the stars, or when you see a mountain, and that feeling you have inside of, the contrast?
It's almost, for a moment, it's like suffocating. Like, I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. Oh, wow. And then it's processing like how, I guess I would say, insignificant I might be to the grand scheme of the universe. Like, at first, like, that's a lot to process because I want to feel special. And I'm like, fuck, I'm not. But then I don't know, I realize, like, there's a lot of just power in that. Like, it doesn't, whatever may be making me feel like my world is ending, it's like, that also doesn't matter. Like, I don't know. It's really,
I've seen it as, I I think we do matter, but it is very small, right? So it's being so small, but there's still something that's significant. And but just the smallness is freeing. Like, it's just you. Right?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
so small. Like,
I'm so small.
just live your life. Right? That's what I feel like. Like, I'm like, there's so much out there. Like, to me, it's freeing to feel that small, but for a tiny bit to still know that there's a level of significance there. You know, that we're part of the universe in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
So go with it, right?
Right. Just go with it.
For the next question, if you can go in your mind and think, this life event can be mental, physical, or spiritual, can you tell us about a time in your life that you can relate to the word war?
I feel like until I recently got a therapist, so I'm changing, I'm evolving. But before her, I was at a constant war with myself and my brain, and us not being on the same page. It's yeah, I would say that's the first thing that comes to mind. It's just being at war with myself. I don't feel that so much anymore. So
What's the biggest thing you've learned while going through therapy?
The biggest thing that I've learned, that I'm okay. Like, she has me, like, there are these, she calls them resources, my resources. And I have my nurturing adult self, my protective adult self, and then my core self. And I've got these three people looking after, or things, they don't have to be people, just these three resources are looking out for me, and it really helps to, like, visit them when things are starting to, she's really helped me identify, like, what it is I might need, and she's really helping me with, like, regulating my emotions so they, like, don't overwhelm me. I just feel so grounded now and safe with myself, and that's huge. It's big.
So for this next question, same type of question, if you can go in your mind and think, this life event can be mental, physical, or spiritual, can you tell us about a time in your life that you can relate to the word peace?
So the first thing that just comes to my mind is this moment. My best friend back home, her name is Maddie. She lost her father, like, really suddenly and tragically, like, and she was struggling before it, and then, like, this happened to her, and I was, like, really worried about the direction it might take her, because I knew that she was already having a difficult time. And we got together, and and we took some acid, and we were in this, it was like a stream. It was like there was like a little area that you could like swim, and then the rest of it was like kind of shallow water that was just running. And we weren't really talking or anything, and I was just like sitting by the water, and then she laid down in the water and like just like let it rush over her. And I knew, we didn't communicate this, but I knew that she was having a moment with her father. And this little dragonfly came and landed like right on her leg and was just like hanging out with her the whole time. And watching that moment, that was peace. Like, she became like a different person after that, like in the most magical way. And it was really cool to like be a part of it, but like not, like I wasn't like there necessarily with her, but I felt very much like, if I could maybe describe it, like the energy that she was producing, creating, expanded like to me. Yeah. Like it wasn't just like on her, like I felt her reach like this peaceful state after not having it for so long. Yeah, that's a good one.
When was that?
When?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
That was the summer of 2017, maybe, I think.
How did that, so it's like you felt the peace vicariously, right?
Yeah.
Down where she was at. So how did that feel for you then? So describe that peace inside you in that moment. It's beautiful, right, to share that moment. But what did you feel too, right?
I also felt that peace. Yeah. I didn't know how.
Like, what words would you use to describe how you felt in that experience?
I felt I don't know. Maybe just like, I feel like there is a word, but I'm just gonna, like, just so happy. Just so, like, I just, I don't know, a lot of love, because I love her so much. So it was just like I don't know, a giant bubble of love and happiness and my own relief. There was like
Calm?
Calm? Oh, yeah. Calm's a good one. I felt really calm.
Do you mind telling us about the hardest thing you've been through, how you got through it?
I think the hardest thing that I've been through it's weird because physically the hardest thing that I have been through has been my rape, but that one feels so, I feel so detached from that memory that I almost don't know that I've gotten through it. But I think.
How old were you?
I was 20.
So I
But
guess that's something you'll be going through with your therapist. Right?
yeah, probably we might need to touch on that.
Yeah, usually what we do.
No, it was, yeah, it, I didn't realize what it was. Like, I didn't realize that it happened for a long time after. And then I was like, I don't know, I was talking to a friend and it triggered something from that night, and it like just all like came at me. And I was like, oh no, like that happened to me. And that was really hard. And it was one of my uncle's friends, so like telling him, like, because I told my friend, and then she was like, you gotta tell your uncle. I was like, nah, we'll just keep it in. And she was like, no, you like gotta tell him. So I told his girlfriend first because she was a very safe space for me, and then she kind of like cultivated the space for me to tell him, and she was like there for me. But that was like one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And I haven't really talked about it since until this moment.
How was that conversation with your uncle?
Scary. He was like in the middle of starting a business with this person, so it was like, like you gotta change. There's like, I'm affecting so many lives. I almost like felt bad. I was like, I'm ruining so many people's lives. Like, like total disregard for how I feel, you know? My own disregard. So, no, that was,
How do you put yourself first now and do all those things for yourself? And, you know, you're a feeler, clearly, and you feel for other people and you do it easily. How do you honor your own feelings for yourself?
I'm still working on that one. I feel like I'm here to ease the suffering of others. And in that, I almost feel like I have a higher capacity for pain or the negative.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like I feel like I'm okay absorbing those for other people. And I feel, and it like makes me feel good in a sense. Like I am taking on all of I don't know.
Do you do anything to like actively decompress, to let out, when you intake those emotions, to let it process them positively, or have an outlet? And it can be art, right? Walking, it can be a bunch of stuff. But do you do stuff consistently to facilitate that?
I wouldn't say it's as consistent as it should be. There was a moment where it was pretty consistent. I was really good at meditating. I would do that like 3 times a day. Yoga, like I was in a good space then. But recently, or like I guess in like the past year, it's been less consistent. I write. I have a journal. That helps me.
How do you feel the love for yourself?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll look at myself in the mirror and tell myself that I am awesome and beautiful and funny. I'll like give myself some pep talks.
Yeah.
But that's also something that I started recently. I would say that I more or less like hated myself fairly recently. Like there has just been a giant shift in my life in literally the past month. Like huge.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even begin to explain like just how differently I feel about myself now. And I'm learning what it's like to actually love myself. That's pretty neat. Feels pretty good. Can't believe it took me this long.
Can you tell us about the happiest or truly joyous moment in your life and how that felt?
That's a tough one. On a sense of like
one of them. Yeah.
You've like the one that comes to my mind first, like this sense of just like euphoria.
Yeah.
I was in New York and I had done acid for the first time. And there is a park in Queens. It's called Gantry Plaza State Park. And it's on the water, so it looks like on the entire skyline of Manhattan. And it was really dark out. It was so dark. It was like just the lights of the city. It was so beautiful. And there was like this giant field that it almost felt like it never stopped. Like you could just like keep going, and like you were just like getting closer and closer to the city. But just like being out on that open field with the cityscape and like the lights, and like this was just a couple months after I moved to New York, so it was like this it was just like this overwhelming sense of like I'm here, I'm doing it, I'm like literally living the life that I've dreamed of living. Like I was just so happy to be there, and that's my favorite park now. Like I want to take everybody there. I want everybody to try to experience like that moment that I had. I know it's not going to ever be the same for anybody, but it was just...
Do you think that you can have similar moments like that again? Without just life as you go through life, right? And you move forward, and you know, we have those moments where you stop yourself and you're like, you know, I have those moments, right? I have that moment when I, you know, take you downstairs and say bye, and I'm walking back up here. You have a moment where like shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, do you think you get those again on different levels? Like, and how do you appreciate those moments now? And they can be in the mundane, right, if you love it. So what do those moments look like for you now? And I do know you I know a little bit about you already, as we're friends. And
Right.
Right. Like, do you feel that when you're acting, or I know you do costumes, and like, do you have those moments still, even on a different scale? It can be lower, it can be higher.
Oh, definitely. I think that I feel those moments very often. There was just a time where I kind of numbed myself to everything, because it was just too much to even feel happy sometimes. So like I was just like a shell of a person. But it's really easy for me to have those moments. Like recently I was visiting Maddie back in February, and we me, her, and her boyfriend were washing our faces, but like it was a really small bathroom, so we had to like go one. I thought that we would all like just get soap on our hands and like wash our faces together at once, but for some reason we chose to do it individually. So one person would stand in front of the sink and wash their face, and then the other two people would just be like standing there behind them, and it was just like the rotation, and we all wore glasses, so we were all like holding each other's glasses and trying them on, and they put on my glasses, and I'm very blind, like I cannot see. And she was like, "Oh my God, like this is how you go through life?" And I was like, "Yeah." I always say if I get kidnapped and someone takes my glasses, I'm done for. Like I can't help myself. And like I said that to her, and I just think it's funny, but they were really sad for me that I was this blind, and I thought it was so funny, and I was like sometimes those moments are really easy to tap into just when I start laughing.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I start laughing, I'm like, this is great. Whatever's happening right now, I am so appreciative of. And then sometimes I'll just start crying because I'm so happy, and then people are like, oh no, like what's wrong? And I'm like, nothing's wrong. Literally, I just cry sometimes. And so I feel like those moments happened a lot, and then I would like be crying a lot, and people would be like, are you okay? And I got tired of people asking me if I was okay, so I was like, I guess I'll just stop crying. But now I am okay with it again. So it's just, they're always happening. Like the little things get me too. I'm really forming such a solid friendship with Heather right now. Like she's so special to me, and I've had quite a few moments with her where I'm just so happy to be here. Yesterday we played mini golf yesterday. She calls it small golf. I think it's so cute. And she's so bad. And I was just watching her trying to get into the hole, and I got a little emotional because it was just, it's really, I don't know. I really appreciate the moments. It doesn't have to be big or grand.
Most people want in life. Right? Talking about success, my brother to a few people, and what we're chasing is a feeling.
Yeah.
Because you reach that success, and then if it doesn't feel how you thought, right? We expect to feel all these things. Oh, I did this, I did that. And then if you go back home and it's just another day.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to appreciate the small things, and you have to love whatever. It's a day-to-day thing, regardless of, there's the pursuit of the goal, but knowing that the happiness doesn't lie in that attainment, it lies in the day-to-day, what you decide to do day-to-day and how you decide to view it. So that's success.
Yeah, I agree.
What keeps you up at night?
I think that what used to keep me up at night was just my depression. Nothing is ever really on my mind, I would say. It's just a feeling of, I don't know, I never felt, if I go to sleep, I don't wake up, I'm okay, this is it. So I would normally just be literally just stay awake so I could maybe get something done at some point, because if I lay down, I'm not gonna get up. But recently I have not been having trouble sleeping, which is, let me tell you, insane.
Yeah.
I have been struggling with sleep for so long. Like, I'm going to go ahead and say it probably started around like 14. So 12 years? 12 years of being like, I guess this is just my life unless I want to take medicine for it. But this shift that has happened, it's so cool. So I'm sleeping now, and I want to wake up. Like, I'm excited to.
Was there a catalyst for that shift, or?
I think I just started really, I don't know, letting therapy, that definitely helped. But it was like I had a moment where I think I was probably in the shower, makes sense. But I was thinking about who I am, how I identify, the stories that I tell myself, the stories that I tell other people, and where those stories came from. And a lot of them weren't mine. It was when I was little, my mom told me that I was this way, and I was like, I am this way. I've met every person that I feel like I've met, I've just let them influence me so heavily that I kind of didn't even know who I was anymore. My uncle that I love so much, he was the first person to really question the narratives that we tell ourselves, to give me that something to consider. I would always say, I don't even remember what I would say. I was I was too much, or I was too scared, I was too quiet. And he was like, okay, but you don't have to be, you get to decide who you are, who you want to be. And I was afraid for so long about what the people in my life would think of me if I just suddenly switched. I used to try to do it whenever I would get a new job. I would be like, okay, I'm going to be the person I want to be here because all of these people are new. They don't know me. They're going to think this is me.
Fresh start.
Fresh start. I feel like I've just been starting over again and again, and I don't really know, I don't know.
So you had a moment in the shower and it was hope for change. I don't know, that sounds pretty damn profound. That sound, I can't even explain it if I'm putting myself in your shoes. I'm in the shower. The closest I've had to that was thinking about an idea, a writing idea. I was in the shower and I was like, but life changing.
The whole life change,
But it happens. Sometimes it happens in a moment, and it's a moment of really. For me, belief in God. For other people, belief in yourself. Right? Hey, I can. Boom! It's just that so small but so powerful. Small but significant, and that's kind of cool to hear that. To have something to give you a moment that gives you that new direction in life. It's not, and then to take the action on it.
Yeah, I switched up so much, and I feel...
Isn't it scary?
It's so scary. I'm freaking out. But it's not keeping me up at night, which I think is a good thing. It's a good sign.
Better. I think that's a great sign.
I'm so happy right now, and it's but also I'm sad. I'm like mourning the loss of what was. But I'm so excited for what's to come. And that's not something that I have been able to say in a hot minute. So.
What keeps you going every day?
Does keep me going. My mom. I love to, my mom, she sends me a text message every morning, like depending on the day. Like today was Monday. She'll say Monday love, and then I'll get Tuesday love. She gives me daily love every day. That's what I wake up to. I'm like, cool. Just the people in my life. The chance to feel something good or something bad. New experiences. There are so many things that I still want to do, and like that keeps me going. Gotta do them.
Imagine you're in the hospital today with only hours to live. What would be your regrets, if any?
My biggest regret would be that I never left the country. That would suck. I really want to see the world. And I keep putting off just getting my passport, which I should stop doing.
So you're alive and well. You're going to make it. Do you feel that you can change that regret that you just said?
I think I can. Look at me go.
You told me what your dreams were as a kid. What are your dreams now? They haven't really changed. I still really want to act. I think that the pursuit of has changed. I used to want to act as like a way to prove myself and like where I came from. Like I wanted everybody to be like, oh, she did it. Like, look at her go. Especially because everyone always thought that I was like too shy to be an actor. And I was like, I'll show you. And I wanted like the fame and the fortune. Like I wanted that whole lifestyle. I wanted people to know my name. And now that sounds awful. Now, like being like a celebrity, having no privacy, like that whole, like, I don't know, it just seems really gross. And but you still pursuing the acting.
The acting. I would love
the
to
work itself.
Yeah, I would love to be in a place where I could support myself through acting, but I don't need to be like some famous actor. Like it's
to feel the success.
Yeah. So that'd be cool. I mean, my ultimate dream, the ultimate dream is to move to Italy. I want to live on like the countryside, in a small town that I can bike to, where I have my own bakery and then I have my own chicken farm, and then I use my eggs from my chicken farm in my baked goods. That's what I want.
Okay,
That's
so
the dream.
The next question, right, and you may have answered it already, is you're the co-author of your life story, right? What's your picture perfect ending? And I think you may have just said that.
Yeah, literally.
Okay, so you're in Italy with the chickens, the bakery.
That's my end
How
all
would you
be
think
all.
that feels like?
Oh, pure bliss. Just like, I just imagine. it being so nice.